I have something to say. I want to talk about the liabilities of whiteness. And this is how I feel. This is my life, my experience, my truth. And it's okay to disagree. It's okay to think I'm completely wrong. That's totally fine. I just want to share with you, if you want to listen, you don't have to, of the liabilities of whiteness in my life. Whiteness racializes us to believe we are superior. That's kind of its whole purpose, right? White supremacy, right? We hear that, white supremacy. What does that mean? Well, it's the belief that white people are superior. And you might not agree with that, and you might not think you believe that. But I'm going to share with you that that it's real for me. And I remember, it must be almost 30 years ago, maybe a little bit longer. I was in an all-black church, the only white person in space. And I remember sitting, getting ready for service to begin. It was my husband's father's, church where he preached. So we were getting ready, and I don't know whether it was one of the first times that I had been in the church, but I remember sitting in the pew and looking around, and I remember turning behind me and seeing this little black woman, an elder, sitting behind me, dressed in her Sunday best. And I remember this feeling coming over me and this thought that entered my head. And this is hard to say, and this is hard to admit. But I have to be honest, if again, that I'm going to work through this feelings and a belief system that I have been given, right? That I thought in my head that I was better than her. That I sat there and I looked and at her and turned around and sat in the pew and had this just horrific feeling of that I'm better than this woman. And I remember at the same time just being so deeply ashamed, absolutely ashamed, that I could even think of such a thing. And what was I thinking? What was I doing? Why would I think something like that? How did I think something like that, right? I don't even know this woman. I've never met this woman before. But I can just look at this woman and suddenly feel this sense of superiority, that somehow I am better than her. It's horrific. And it is part of this disease of whiteness. It's psychosis of whiteness, as James Baldwin says. That you don't even realize that it's happening to you. You don't even realize that it's, as Daniel Tatum talks about, it's the smog, it's in the air, the racism. Well, so is the white supremacy. And so is this belief that somehow that we as white people, so-called white people, are better than other people that don't look like us. And that's just totally against my morals, totally against my values, totally against what I believe. And it still came in my head anyway. And it still was something that came to my consciousness. And I've been fighting it ever since. Every single day, all the time, fighting that consciousness of thinking that somehow that I'm better than anybody. And so we have to be honest with ourselves. It's hard. It is hard. This is so hard even saying this, and it's been hard admitting this, over the last 30 years. But I'm glad that I see it. I'm glad that I noticed it. I'm glad that I've moved it from my unconscious to my conscious, so I can literally be aware that this is actually how I walked the world, what I actually believed, what I actually thought. It's insane, and it's wrong. And I think that that's the work that we have to do as white people, and the liabilities of whiteness. That's just one of them. I'm going to talk about more of them, but that's just one of them. And we have to unlearn that. We have to challenge ourselves and get rid of that psychosis, that insanity.